Come here, you sexy camera. Come here. Welcome back to IGN Live. I'm Brian Altano. I'm with Jim and Danny McBride and Jody Hill.
How are you?
A vice principal is Eastbound and Down, a billion other things that I've been watching for years. Thank you guys so much for coming.
No problem. I've never been on a show where I sit behind a table and cameras swoop in. This feels
it's
like we're on
crazy.
a
It's
show.
crazy, right?
It's really, really
This is
professional.
some serious ESPN kind of stuff.
It's like The View.
It's The View. It's just like The View.
What does that make me then?
I don't know. We'll figure that out. You're Whoopi.
I want to be Whoopi.
Everyone can be Whoopi. You guys are doing a show about school.
Yes.
Again, kind of, right? If you look at Eastbound and Down, it's about just an awful, failed, alcoholic baseball player who we all loved, who ended up back into school. Why do you guys keep going back to school? I've spent most of my adult life trying to repress my memories from school.
You know, I feel like it's with Eastbound. He's only a teacher for basically like 5 episodes of the show, and I think we realized that we liked shooting in a school so much, so we're like, we have to go back there. This is honest, but when we shot in the school, they have AC. Yeah, location moves are very simple. We're like, man, this is how you do a show. You just go to high school.
You just drive to the school each morning. It's like really nice, you know?
They got parking, everything.
right.
Built-in cafe.
So 90% of the creative process relies around the air conditioning system.
Yeah,
Yep,
like
for sure.
what's the AC like? Yeah.
There's a reason why we're in here and not on the balcony right now
That's true.
shooting this. Look, one of the things I love about the show is the 2 main guys, to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they mentally still seem like they're kids in high school, like they never got out of that.
That's
And
right.
it's like they've literally and kind of mentally never left school. Am I onto something
I
there?
think 100%. Like, we grew up on all of those 80s teen comedies, and this is in a way like our way of like exploring that territory. But now, like, the people who used to watch those 80s comedies, they're all grown up and old now. And so this is how you can experience it. So these guys are kind of going through the same sort of social dilemmas that, like, you usually are used to seeing teenagers do, you know?
And you're right. We also think it's funny to have a show set in a high school where you don't even hear the kids' stories really.
Yeah.
And it's all about the adults like fighting and dating each other and that kind of stuff, you know? Like it's just like
It's exactly the kind of thing like kids who, you know, when you're in school, you'd see them in the teacher's lounge and they'd be smoking, and your whole image of them would get shattered.
Right.
So I love that it's like this fly in the wall of just how like office politics can invade and ruin anything.
For
no
sure,
matter how
yeah.
noble.
Yeah.
You know?
So how were you guys in school growing up? Were you terrible, like constantly getting thrown out of classes? Were you quiet?
I was kind of a non-factor, really. I was just kind of like I guess I did okay in school, but I wasn't like I wasn't the top and I wasn't the bottom. I was kind of like checked out. Honestly, it wasn't until film school where I met Danny that I met like people with like a lot of common interests in music and movies and stuff. So you know, that's kind of high school wasn't really my bag.
Yeah, I flew under the radar. My sister was bad in school, so she was a smokescreen for my terrible behavior.
She older than you?
She was younger. She would, and she did like way ballsier things than I did, and so she would be in trouble, and then I could sneak out the back.
Yeah.
It didn't like curse your last name though?
No.
Because you have that with some teachers where they're just like, you're a McBride.
It cursed her.
watching you.
It cursed her because they were like, you know, you're Danny's sister, and then she was like, yeah, I'm Danny's sister. You know, like a cigarette in their face.
So is she kind of an inspiration for some of your?
She might be.
Yeah, there's something going on. The wheels are turning like that. So, you know, at least from the first episode, did you kind of want to do something, or at least about characters who might be a little less, for lack of a better expression, acidic than like the Eastbound and Down character?
You know, like this story where it came from is Jody and I made a film together back in 2005 called The Foot Fist Way.
Awesome movie.
And it went to Sundance in 2006. And when we got back from Sundance, Jody and I were like, let's work on something else. And we actually came up with this idea then. We got together for like a week and wrote the screenplay. And we loved the characters, we liked the setup, but there was something about it being in an hour and a half that just kind of, I don't know, it just didn't feel unique enough. And so we always came back to the script to try to figure out what we could do to toss it up. And we started looking at it as like, what if we just made it a longer story? Like, what if we took, 9 hours to tell this story instead of an hour and a half? No. And that really kind of gave the show the scope it needed, where you could really spend time with all these different characters. You can establish these other, secondary characters and just go to some really unexpected places. But this story, I think why we like it is that it's, you're following the bad guys in the story. I mean, like the good guy is the principal that comes in to try to turn things around, and we're following the two people that are trying to like hinder the person who's the best for the job. And it's just an interesting place to sort of start a story.
Well, what was it like working with Bill Murray on this one? This is, come on, man, that's.
It's awesome. I'd done it twice before, and so I had flipped out twice before and stumbled for words to say. And so it was fun to be on a set and watch everyone else do the same thing that always happens when Bill Murray comes around.
I was stumbling. I was nervous because he's such a legend. I just didn't want to mess up, honestly. I just wanted him to
Was it just tough to get him to show up there? Because I always hear these stories about it's an 800 number. You got to call, and like 3 people have the number, and maybe he'll show up. We don't know.
He wasn't that like when Jody and I we scouted Charleston, South Carolina, and
he lived down there. Right?
Yeah, when we were flying back on the plane, and we heard someone call my name. I looked around, it was Bill, and so on the flight from Charleston to Atlanta, he just talked to us about why we should shoot in Charleston. So once we decided to shoot there, we came back. We're like, well, he talked us into coming here. He should be in the show.
I really appreciate his setup, by the way, when he comes in. He's just like, I don't care, just figure it out. He's revealing how completely inconsequential the entire thing is in reality. But to your character and to Walton Goggins, it's the biggest thing in the world. It's the number one thing worth fighting for.
For sure.
He literally lays out the moral and the story of the whole entire show, which is, it's not about these guys. It's all about the students. But that's a concept that these guys grasp with.
Right. You want to hear something kind of lofty? As I'm watching it, I'm thinking, it's like King Lear and his daughters, and they're all fighting for the king.
It is that. That is what it is.
We talked about that a lot. Where it's like it's not. It wasn't like a direct King Lear reference, but you're not wrong. Where like we always talked about this as looking at that school as a kingdom, and these two dudes are fighting, like you would see two houses on Game of Thrones fight or something. You know what I mean? Like that was part of the thing going into it.
The Iron Throne is in the principal's office.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah.
The show is awesome. It's on now on HBO. How many episodes are in the first season?
9.
The first season is a fall term, and it's 9 episodes, and the second season is spring term, and it's the final 9. And that was a different way we set the show up. It is only 18 episodes.
It's only 18.
It's a complete story, and that's why we were so stoked about doing it. And we thought it'd be hard to convince HBO to do that, but they saw our reasoning in that it's cool to invest in a show and there to be finality to it. You're not worried about the quality diminishing. It's a complete story that is shot and filmed and edited before anyone can kind of weigh in on it.
And they trust you guys by now, right?
They did, yeah. We didn't have to do a pilot, which was nice. So we were able to just, really just talk about the show and really a full arc without having to worry about what anybody thought about it or interrupting the creativity along the way, which was really nice.
That weird thing where you shoot a pilot and then when you get to the second episode, it's like, why is that guy trying to be more handsome? Why did he lose weight between?
Why does it look a little different?
That's awesome. Well, congrats on the new show, guys. I love what you guys do. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
Vice Principals is on HBO right now. Go watch the first episode. It's really funny. I almost cursed. I'm Brian. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Comic-Con. Goodbye. Don't move. Stay where you are.